Get those Cybermen out.
Welcome back to the Cybermen, guys. I am just getting for work, as you can see, but last night I had the pleasure of interviewing Alan Liu, the first place, aka champion of the Oceania Regionals. He piloted Cell Surge Hand Destruction for the win. Very, very methodical gameplay. Really, really great player. So I hope you enjoyed this interview. I'll put some gameplay afterwards as well of his 2 rounds we got on stream. So enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers, guys. Alright, guys, welcome back to the Cybermen. Today I have Alan Liu here with me, the winner of the Oceania Regionals, just passed over the weekend. He is now the regional champion with Cell Surge Hand Destruction. Welcome to the channel, Alan.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
I just want to get your rundown of how you went in the tourney, maybe give us a couple of your cool matchups and things that happened, and then a bit of a rundown on the final.
Sure. So I was playing Cell Surge. It's like a Cell Surge hand destruction kind of deck. In terms of matchups, I think round one was I think set 6 Broly. It was the one where they draw to 6 on the Awakened side.
Yep.
That was pretty interesting because as a hand destruction deck, you can't they will replenish the hand
Yeah, you can't
every
keep
turn.
that hand down.
Yeah, but I think I kind of adapted to that by concentrating all my hand destruction on one turn. It was just I had a Dark Broly Unison discard, double Ribrianne and Dabura, and I essentially got his hand down to 0 that turn and just went for game straight away.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that was round one. Round two I believe was also on stream. It was against Android 16.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Blue can't do much against hand control at the moment because they're quite slow. They don't really pressure you that much, and then you can get the hand to 0 quite easily on about turn 3, 4, and then just as soon as the hand hits 0, it's kind of free reign to take them down to 0 life.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to get that hand size back up.
Yeah. Round 3, I believe, was against Sin Shenron. I think it was a mid-range Sin Shenron. He opened with the 1-star ball. So going up to the 4-drop Sin Shenron, and then I think he ended up playing the 9. Unfortunately, I think that's probably not the best. It's very good for Cell Surge, and not that great for Sin Shenron.
Yeah.
Sadly, because Sin Shenron doesn't really have a big hand. Unless they take their own life with the 5-star ball and that chain.
Yeah, and I mean with Cell Surge, you're not really attacking with leader much, so you don't worry about the 4-drop stunning you in that way either. So it kind of doesn't get all that value.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best parts of the cell that you don't need to because you can use Rubian really efficiently because your leader puts it in the drop area straight away, and you don't need to swing at your opponent's leader. So you can just deny resources whilst just hand controlling them.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a different story if he got if he successfully got the 5-star ball out.
Yeah.
Because he can swing me with a lot of crit. I think he can take up to 3 life if he goes the 5-star ball and then goes into the Omega Shenron because he can take a life to copy the 5 and then on attack take another life. So that's 3 life altogether that he can take.
Yeah.
But it's still not super pleasant for Sin because I think I was holding up a freezer just in case, but I never had the need to use it anyway because he played the other part and then he played the other chain and then it was pretty easy to get his hand down to 0 by turn 4 and then just went for game after that.
Nice.
I think round 4 was against King Piccolo. This one, it was a bit, I think round 7 was also against King Piccolo on stream. This one was a bit harder than round 7 because I think I curved out a lot better on in round 7 because King Piccolo, I think on stream I used Ribrianne on him on turn 2, which was normally it's actually the ideal opener. So because without a hand, their plays are really restricted.
Yeah.
I think in round 4 I missed Ribrianne on turn 2, and so he had a bigger hand for him to fight back with, was really tight because I think like as a hand control deck, you need to take out all their sources of advantage, which is the piano, the cymbal, and the unison. So it's like those three cards. The absolute like MVP in that matchup was like the Dark Roller Unison because it just like it's so good for discarding. I think I discarded so many cards with the Dark Roller Unison, and also this was on stream quite a bit. There was a Demon God Dabura Dark Dominion.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think so. What that card does is you discard him and minus a marker from your unison to search a deck for a Dark Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and when you minus a marker, they have to drop a card, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Very nice. I think
that was very nice.
In one of your I think it was in the final game, you played the new Android 13 SR from Battle Evolution Booster. That looked like it really helps control King Piccolo as well because they're constantly removing their battle cards.
Exactly, yeah. Because King Piccolo goes so wide because I think the leader has so much free play. And you really need to clear their symbols, otherwise they're going to start drawing a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that
engine, right?
The Android 13 helped a lot in both of those matchups. Thankfully, King Piccolo can't really take their own life, so it's not too hard to get their hand down to 0. I think in that matchup, it's more an issue of do you have enough, like when you get the hand down to 0, do you have enough resources to close out the game?
Yeah,
because I think after you use both of your cells abilities, like if you use both of the surge abilities, you like King Piccolo will just scale a lot better than you late game because you don't really draw at all after you've used both of your abilities.
Yeah. It looked like you managed that well in the final round. I think you mainly used the one to pop battle card, and then you did use the rest mode one once, didn't you?
I used the rest mode one once to like stun him for a turn, and then I use a pop a battle card, take a card from hand to go for game.
Yeah, nice. I think it was really clean. We were talking about, I don't know if you've watched it on stream yet. I've
watched bits of it, yeah.
But we were just saying like how it was almost like perfect plays. There was just like no misplay at all the whole time, which was impressive.
Thanks. I really enjoyed your commentary, Sam. It was good. It was very insightful.
Man. It's the first time I've done a long, a whole day because I do, a game here or there and upload them.
Yeah.
But that whole time, it was pretty tiring actually.
No, of course, but you smashed it, man. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I can't remember. Did we finish out the rounds? Were there any?
Oh no, so I think the round 6 was against Android 18 mil. Again, that's a very favorable matchup for me because they don't really do anything whilst I just destroy the hand.
Yeah.
I think a tough matchup was round 5 against Dark Broly.
Okay. Because they can use their drop so much, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And they can also take their own life. So it's like I think I got some good testing done against that because I think I brought Cell Surge to locals 3 weeks ago, and then I think one of the other Cybermen, Che, brought Dark Broly that week, and then
perfect.
It was really good testing against it, just figuring out what to do in that matchup. I definitely learned a lot from that, and then that helped me a lot in that Dark Broly game on the weekend.
Nice.
Because I think the key thing to observe in that matchup is it's really nice for the Cell Surge leader because you don't need to swing at the leader. So you can kind of, with Dark Broly, they can't make really big plays until they awaken. They can maybe play like one or two, like one Dark Broly a turn.
Yeah.
And I think if you can control the battle cards they play with Frieza Charismatic, you really avoid taking a lot of damage. So you can do that for about 3 turns because they will take a life a turn.
Yeah.
Generally, and then I think after their 3rd turn, it's when you push them. That's
they take themselves down to 4, and then you can just go the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I think my opponent, he took himself down to 5. I couldn't let him take down to 4 because he'd get a pretty strong awaken turn from that. Sure. So I think from 5, I pushed him down to 1, and and he didn't have too many cards in his hand. And then afterwards, I was able to clean out. I was able to clinch the game from there.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that's the
rundown.
It's a brief rundown of the matchups.
You did see a lot of the meta as well, which is really cool. You know, sometimes these side kind of rogue decks sneak through by getting favorable matchups, but you went against some of the best players and some of the best decks, and you got through, which is really awesome.
No, it is. Yeah. I think a lot of what helps is because like I know exactly what their decks are trying to do, but they don't really know what mine is trying to do. So
yeah,
like anybody listening out there, I would recommend like playing like a like a slightly off meta strategy, because it is quite effective for tournament performance.
Yeah, I think not that I've played competitively in any other games, but I think people say in Dragon Ball more than any other game you can do well with kind of lots of different off meta strategies, just because of how wide the meta is at the moment, and just so many different strategies. I definitely agree. Decent.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think because if you look at other card games, like the metas are just a bit more like concentrated compared to Dragon Ball, where if you look at like a top 16, it can be like there's normally like one or two leaders who has like who are a bit more popular than others, but then there's like a range of like 6 other different leaders, and they're all viable. It's just, I guess, a lot of it is matchup knowledge and how you deal with each deck's respective strategy.
Yeah, I think I said this on stream at some point, but I think card knowledge in this game is so important. It's almost like it's probably as important as skill. Just knowing what all the cards do. I know I've noticed, like, playing at locals with you, that you have such a wide knowledge of all the cards and effects, so I think that really helps. And people underestimate how much it helps knowing what, you go into a match and you know what their deck's going to do, and if they don't know what yours is going to do, you have a leg up. I'm so glad that you beat, like, King Piccolo is such a boring deck, right?
I mean, I guess, but to be fair, hand destruction is pretty impressive as well, like, in its own regard.
Yeah. It looked like, it really looked like you kind of took him to the races. It didn't seem to do much.
Yeah, no, because I think, I guess it was because, like, it's not like hand destruction hasn't seen like hardly any results recently, and I don't think anybody really knows what this cell deck is trying to do, and it's also, I guess, people are also not too aware of how aggressive it can be.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was cool.
The Frieza Zeno thing, when you can just you can actually chain multiple of them together. It's very aggressive if need be.
Yeah, I love that, like, the play that you made at the end, where you tapped 4 for the Frieza Zeno, then used it to grab the ball back, played another. That was
and
sick.
Then just played another one. Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming
definitely.
on. Is there anything else you want to say? Anybody you want to thank, or anything you want to say while you're here?
Well, definitely. Thanks to the people at my locals for testing, because I think that week I brought Cell Surge to locals. I learned a lot about how to deal with like aggro, how to deal with like the difficult matchups. Thanks to my brother for I think because he like just somehow had gotten all these cards like from a while ago, but he didn't really play with the deck for a bit of time. But
sure.
Yeah,
nice, man. Sweet. I'll end it there.
As I was saying before, I'm super excited for this Android 16. We were talking about it before, that it's one of the decks I quite enjoy playing, and you said yourself you've played it a couple of times and you've liked it as well. So
yeah, I think that it has the potential to, not a lot of people have played against it yet, so it has the potential to surprise people.
Exactly. Knowing's half the battle, right? Like, if you don't know if you have to read like all your opponent's cards, you're already at a massive advantage. You're at a massive disadvantage. So it's like, if you don't know what's happening, then it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. That Android 16 can go from, not having any battle cards on board to having a lot of battle cards on board and
like an energy
critting your life and stuff like that. So it can be very brutal.
Yeah, in my testing, I found you can literally go from like when you're on 4 energy, you can on that turn you can charge the 5, you can ramp with a 16, then just pass, then ramp on your opponent's turn. So you can skip the curve so fucking. Oh, sorry, my language. You can skip it so fast late game, but it kind of seems absurd with what the deck can do. But of course, saying that the deck is very susceptible to a lot of the counterplay cards. None of the cards in the deck have deflect on it besides the boss monster, the 8-drop. Yeah. So curious to see his take on the deck for sure. I've been running it with the Raditz Unison. I think it's quite a good Unison for the deck, but I'm looking forward to putting the new Margin Boo Unison in there. I think it's a great upgrade for it for sure.
The Raditz, the green Unison.
Oh, the blue one.
Oh, I was going to say, what the... So this is cool. That Android 16 is a multicolor, but if your leader is Android 16, I believe you can charge that in active mode.
That is correct. It does have to have a rival on there, though. You cannot charge the ramp 16 because it doesn't have a rival. It has to be a 16 and have a rival on there, and then it gets its energy exhaust negated. And it's cool because in the next set there is a new promo 16 that actually also has a rival and is blue-green, and I'm putting it straight into the deck once I get it for sure. Just being able to have another check line is great. That does some useful stuff. Has a rival. For sure. Yeah. But that's in the future.
It just means you can have all multicolor energy without worrying about energy exhaust at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like he's definitely playing Maidens here. He just dropped something Alan's or the Cell Surge player's camera is a bit kind of off for me, so I can't really see very well. It looks like he charged a Demigra Unison, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say it does look a little bit like a Demigra, so...
And then in the drop, I think that's some kind of Maiden Squadron card.
Not the greatest of quality, but I do think you're right. It is very hard to see, but we'll have to see it play out for a couple of turns. So I do think this will be a little bit of a hard matchup for Android 16, just because Blue inherently has always had a pretty bad matchup versus
Hand Destruction.
Hand Destruction. Sorry, I just got caught off by guard when he played this Android 21 one-drop. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. Okay.
That's the one that plays Scheme, doesn't it?
That is the one that plays Scheme. It also lets you draw a card, and I believe it actually also plays a clone token on your opponent's side of the board. Interesting. I'm very surprised he's playing this card.
It was Mill.
If this was
so
Mill,
strange.
You might as well just play the 18 leader. For sure. It's very odd.
So dropping an Android and drawing 2.
Mm-hmm. It's very good. The front side of the lead is amazing. Just the fact that you can discard any Android card from your hand. It's not even locked to blue or green. So if you're playing other color Android cards, you can discard them as well to get the +2. And it's got, I think, arguably one of the best awaken conditions in the game, where if you or your opponent have a combined total of 5 life, you can activate your awaken skill and take cards from your life down to when you have 5. And then on top of that as well, untap 1 and draw 1. It just means you can't really get stalled out of the game from high life total, right? It means that you can just... When you need be, if you're getting stalled on max life, you get a very powerful draw ability. And majority of the time, your turn 2 play is normally the ramp 16, so you're able to get that out, go to 3, and then if your opponent goes, they'll most likely have 2 energy as well, and that is a total of 5, so you're good to go.
Yeah, it's very quick to get to 5 energy. Charging, it looks like he plays Freezer Zeno there as well. This might just be a generic Hand Destruction deck, I don't know. That was a Ribrianne in the drop there, so he's Ribrianning straight away.
Yep, and there's also the Cell Center card, not the SCR, but the 9-drop. Where it's so powerful. This
lets you self-awaken and draw a card. Very, very nice. Exactly.
It turns the leader skill to a plus. So that's very strong for sure. I'm very curious to see what Ethan's going to do with his Android. That Android 21. It feels like such a random card to include in the deck, if you're asking me, because you inherently don't play the field spell. So curious to see what he's going to do with that, for sure.
It's very weird. I mean, it could just be he wanted a cantrip that he can drop with the leader, but seems strange.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's already so many better options. There's the Android 18 that he has next to it, and there's also an Android 17 that does the same thing as the Android 18, but it gives you the option to discard a card from your hand if you want. You can get certain cards in the drop area with that card, but I don't think it is too over the top. I'm just curious to see if it literally is just there to be an Android card that draws, or if he does have the scheme in his deck just to slow down.
It's so strange, yeah. So the Cell player used the Zeno. He didn't take a life, so he just drew a card with it. Hmm? What's that marker for?
I think that's how representing the clone token. I think how the Android 21 works, you actually get the effect that end of your opponent's next turn, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, okay.
It's a very interesting card for sure.
Why would he have clone tokens? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I mean, you and me are very confused. But we'll see what he does here. He's charged a D-Magic, and is he going to drop a Unison? He's playing the
He's
Android.
doing it to play the Unison for free. It makes sense. I mean, that is kind of cool, because that's a +2 Unison.
It is a +2 Unison, going straight to 3 markers, and I guess he didn't invest any energy into it.
Yeah.
But, look, it's just, it seems like a very, odd thing to do.
I get it now, but it does seem strange. Yeah, and I mean, he buffs the leader there. With the +1, it gives the leader 5k. And then the minus on that Unison is an activate battle, where he gives the Unison double strike and +11k or something similar.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes it so that it just can catch you off guard, right? If you just not negate it, you can get punished for it for sure. But the other thing is kind of with that, if he is opting to play this Unison, he's kind of just jumping through extra hoops to get it out, right? Like, he has to play this 1-drop card to play a clone token, and then sack the clone token to play the Unison. I feel like it's a very delayed way to play the deck. I respect it. It's a cool concept for sure, but it seems just kind of random as well. And interesting, he's playing I don't know the name of this card, but it's called Premeditation or something like that. It's a +2. It lets you draw 2 cards, and I believe KO one of your opponent's 1-cost battle cards, which obviously the Soul Surge player doesn't have. But this is interesting. I'm seeing cards I wouldn't expect in the Android 16 deck being played, and it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, just his own list, which is respectable.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, again, we were talking about before, he's at the spot to be able to draw a lot of cards from his life. There is a total of 5 energy, now currently 6 in play. The only thing that's kind of odd, the Android 16 leader, you kind of just want to stay on the front side for as long as you can until you see all your pieces to let you get to later turns. Just because the backside has no inherent way to draw cards is the thing. So it's kind of, you can sometimes start bricking a lot on that side. Whereas the front side is amazing for filtering, seeing a lot of cards, cycling stuff you don't need in your hand at the time. But once you awaken, you get access to free combo power from the drop and arrivaling from your energy and whatnot. But yeah, it just feels kind of rough because you eventually just run out of resources.
It's very strange. Strange deck. So I'm just so baffled that he's played that. It's really interesting. I appreciate it. But I wonder if he does anything else with the clone tokens, if he's trying to... I mean, he obviously hasn't played another one because he doesn't have another Android out there, or if it's just for that Unison and that's it.
Exactly, yeah. That's why it's so crazy. Oh, this is a big play from...
Dark Broly.
From Al, yeah, Dark Broly coming out. This is one of the strongest Unisons in the game, in my opinion. It's the fact that his base 20k has double strike and build, and on top of that, it has both its ability. All of its abilities actually are really powerful. It has the effect where if a marker is removed from it by an opponent's skill, your opponent has to drop a card from your hand. From their hand. If you choose, it's +2, I believe, or +0. I can't remember which one it is. One of the abilities of it allows you to discard a card from your hand, and then you get to KO one of your opponent's cards, and they have to discard a card from their hand as well. And then the other ability of Dark Broly just straight up allows you to remove a marker from the opposing Unison. It's really great to be able to clear it for sure.
Yeah, here's the Dabura to grab the ball to make your opponent drop a card.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool synergies here, for sure. Like this Dabura, you can remove a marker from Unison and then again grab the ball. And I believe it does, as I just said 2 seconds ago, when a marker is removed from the Broly by a skill your opponent has to drop, I believe you can actually proc that ability as well. I think it's any skills, actually, not just...
Yeah, it's any. So that's why that Dabura lets you make your opponent drop a card. Very cool.
Very powerful combo, for sure.
Lots of free stuff in this deck.
Yeah, so I feel like the longer this game goes, I do think Android 16 has a phenomenal late game, but again, Blue's always had a rough time into hand destruction. It feels like just eventually the Cell Surge player will be able to just take over the game and just make keep on asking how many cards in Ethan's hand until the answer is indeed 0 or close to 0, it feels like.
I've got Shannon said tons of cells since Battle Evolution. I don't know, what in Battle Evolution caused people to play more cells than hand destruction? Was there something in particular?
Look, I'm not entirely sure. I think Green has, recently, Green has, solid just generic go-to archetypes. For example, I think the Frieza Zeno archetype where you can play it off the surprise attack and do all that sorts of stuff. That's playable in pretty much any Green deck. I think it's fairly popular in the Cell Zeno deck and Margin of Vegeta for sure. As we can see, he's literally going to it right now. And I think as well, low-key, the maiden stuff is kind of good. Low-key. Yeah. I don't think it's been completely figured out yet, but the big thing about it is that it's like no one knows about it. So you're doing all this maiden shenanigans, and your opponent probably has like not even seen half of these cards before.
Yeah, that's true. He just he actually just plussed on the Broly, KO'd the card, tried to play the Freezer, which would have allowed him to go into Zeno and do some shenanigans. It got bounced back with Trunks, so that's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you can already see the difference in hand size between both the players. Like Alan over here, he's got a whole essay in his hand, right? Where Ethan, he's only got looks like he's only got 2 cards in hand. So it's pretty rough right now. But again, he can get a massive power boost from the Leader Awakening here, but he just has to play it correctly is the thing.
That's right. Rosie was one of the maidens, right? That 3-drop. That's really good in green.
Yeah,
3-drop,
exactly.
Triple attack, your opponent drops 2 cards. So strong.
It's a very powerful card, and I believe there was a 1-drop maiden as well that it has the ability for 1 energy to play any U2 or maiden card from your deck. I believe it is.
Yeah, with its skills negated, I think.
With its skills negated, but I think one of the cards that a lot of people play way back in the tournament power set from like so many years ago now. It feels like there's actually a Universe 2 card that reduces the cost of all
Jimsy.
your yeah, that guy, the Yardrat guy, that reduced the cost of all of your
Maiden Squadron.
Maiden Squadron and U2 cards in your hand. So it allows you to skip the curve tremendously. So that's the combo I've seen people been playing, and it's also the combo I've heard about and just seen deck profiles and whatnot. So it'll be cool to see if he gets it out. But in the meantime, just seeing this Dark Broly just chip away at Ethan's board is just down his hand as well is quite rough.
Here's another Predation.
Another 2. How many rounds is this tournament? I think it's going to keep on going on until there's 1 undefeated player. Last tournament we had, it was, I think, 6 rounds. So this one, I'd assume it would be 5 to 6 rounds for this event as well.
I got Herberto, a.k.a. Kung Fu, on my YouTube stream. G'day, mate. How are ya?
And here it is. Here's the big awaken condition I was talking about from the 16 to get a lot of cards. So because he was at 8 life, he was able to awaken and draw it down till he had 5 life. So it's a big +3, plus another one from drawing a card and untapping an energy. Very huge play for sure.
Now he's tapping 2 for that Unison.
It's quite bizarre.
See, that's at that point, it doesn't feel like it's worth it. 2 energy for that Unison doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Yeah, I feel like there's the Raditz Unison I was talking about, the blue one, the Great Ape one, I think is a lot better than this particular Unison. I also think the new Majin Buu Unison that's coming out in set 13 is a fantastic card in this deck as well, because you get to turn 4 energy fairly quickly, since you do have a lot of cards that allow you to ramp. But like this Super 13 Unison, doesn't feel like it's the thing. Does not feel like it's the card for this deck.
Well, he won his first match, so at least it's doing something, but we don't know what that was against. Shannon,
exactly.
It is 2:05 p.m. in the afternoon for me in Sydney. Same for John in Victoria.
It is 2:05 p.m. That is correct.
Got no boxing match.
Oh yeah, Last time we were talking about me and Vinny would have a boxing match. Marco, we're saving that for the real life events. We can't do that just yet. It wouldn't be as fun.
We should charge a big entry fee for charity or something, and we can beat each other up.
I'm totally down for that. The idea was, how they do like chess boxing, how they spend a couple of minutes doing boxing, then a couple of minutes playing chess.
I've never heard of that, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, they do it. We need to do it for Dragon Ball. You do a couple minutes in the ring, going at it, then you go a couple minutes on the card game. That's the plan in the future for sure. This would be a fun idea. It's for real life event.
The leader on Ethan's side is Android 16. I've just got 3 chats open, by the way, John. That's why I'm replying to a bunch of different people.
No, that's all right, man. No stress, dude. No stress. But yeah.
So back to the game. It is now David's turn. He's just charged a ball. I wonder if he's going to try and... he plays that new Android's extra card. Battle. Is that a battle card? I think it's a battle card.
It's a battle card. It's yellow-green, so this card's kind of good. If your leader is an Android card, which Cell is, it actually is a free 5k combo, which is kind of huge. Yellow and green never had a really free combo outside of the super combo draw, so this kind of just lets you get your arrival plays off much more easier. You can combo that off and instantly arrival the new Android 13 from the draft box, the one that lets you KO 2 cards at your opponent's turn. And on top of that as well, there is a Rubrian card, I believe, way back in the day that does have a rival as well. That does KO a 4-drop card into play.
Yeah, that was from one of the draft boxes, I think.
I think it was actually from set 9. I think it was in.
Oh no, that's right. It was just after because the Android's 18 one and came out in the draft box. That's right. And then there was Rubrian.
Yeah. Marco, yes, it's me and the Cyberman today, Sam Russell himself. So yeah, we're commentating today's event, so it should be pretty good. Benny's playing today, I believe. So yeah, it should be good to see how that goes.
You recognise my voice, Marco?
Oh, and more value out of the Cell deck. The Goku coming out here. This Goku is
card.
It's such a good card, yeah. When you make your opponent discard a card from their hand, and if your leader is green, you actually can play this card for free.
It's a crit as well, and then you can send it to your warp one of your opponent's battle cards.
Oh, nice
here's the Android 18 counterplay. It is a blocker. Can play it for 1 if your opponent has, if you have a blue unison with 2 markers on it, and it bottom decks a 4 or less battle card, and it's also a blocker, 15k, very strong.
Such a high value card. I think it's it's the card that carries the Android archetype super hard. Like honestly, just having such a powerful defensive tool lets you get away. That's why the Android 18 deck probably propped up. Small cards like this just enable you to go for those extra turns that you so desperately need against a lot of these aggressive decks, right?
Exactly. And then there's the new kind of green version of it in the cooler from set 13.
Exactly, yeah.
Shannon just asked me, why didn't I enter? I won the first regional just to talk myself up a bit, and I figured it'd be cool to jump on here, chat to John, and watch some games, and I'll probably play in the next one, maybe. Eternal M says, some places have released Supreme Rivalry cards early. Would they be allowed to play those new cards in this tournament? So it's not early in Australia, and I believe in Europe as well. UW4 has been released pre-release, but it is not legal until the 7th of May in big tournaments, so they are not allowed to play it in this one.
Exactly, yeah. So our pre-release events are all on this weekend. So some players do have the cards, myself included, and Sam as well. I've opened 1 box, Sam's got 2, and I've got more boxes on the way at another pre-release I'm going to later this weekend. But now it's just obviously it would be very unfair that some players could not use the new cards. For example, it would be obviously an unfair advantage, and they're not allowed to be used until we just put in the chat till May the 7th. So be pretty awkward. Someone just starts playing their King Vegeta deck or something in this tournament. It'll be kind of awkward, So, but yeah, the cards it's not released early. It's just around the world the cards come out at different times, and in Australia we're pretty lucky to get them a bit of ahead compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think, and just back to the game here, I think they're waiting on a judge maybe, because since he played his Android 18, they have stopped the game, and he's waiting. Alan is waiting to see what's going on. So I feel like they must have called a judge, because he did look up the card on his computer, I saw.
Yeah, no, this is a fine play. The Android 18 does hit this. He does have the energy for it. He does have the unison in play for it. Fun fact about this 18, though, it's actually not the unison that you need only has to have 2 markers. You can actually have a green unison or a different color unison as well.
True. Very nice.
I have been experimenting trying to use Demigra Unison. Oh, not Demigra Unison. Yeah, no, Demigra Unison in this particular deck, as well as so you can have the Freezer counterplay and the blue Android 18, but it was kind of a bit clunky, so it was not worth it. Not worth it at all.
No, I think that the question that he has here is that's a skill that he's using to play the card, and he's saying that it happened in window 2, but the thing is you have to reveal that card and ask for a response first. So I don't think at the end of the day,
even if it is played in the second window, the Goku doesn't have any coming into play auto effects is the thing. So there's actually it doesn't change the game state at all here. It's more of the fact I reckon he's probably waiting so he can just I'm going to keep this in my hand or something. So yeah, I think the correct sequencing should be
I think it should go bottom deck. Proan says you need to specify cost of 2 or more. No, it actually says...
Oh, no, it is. No, he's right. It is specified at cost 2. It is specified cost of 2. That's my bad. I meant to say the Bardock unison, not the Demigra unison. I got that mixed up, sorry.
Is it I could have sworn it said that you just need a unison with 2 or more markers or something, but you must be right.
Yeah, no, it's 2 or more in a blue Android leader. That's what it says on the card. I tried it with the Bardock unison, but it just felt really clunky in this deck. It was a cool idea in theory. You can have the Freezer counterplay and the Android 18, But I was just way too clunky, for sure. You have better things to do on your turn 2 than play the Green Unison.
Fair.
But yeah, they're still going on about it here. Yeah, just wait to see when this gets resolved. So yeah, it would be cool. Because the rumor has been that eventually I'm going to get dual color unisons, right? So that's why I was trying to experiment it with this Android 18, but it felt really clunky, honestly. But to be fair, if you were to do dual color unisons, they'd have to be like pretty crazily nerfed, right? Because you get access to so many free counterplays. Yeah, the counterplays are once per turn, but the fact that you can, like, just imagine running a deck where you can have God Sealing and the Freezer charismatic villain. It seems kind of, does not seem like fun thing to verse for sure.
That would be so good. I realized why I thought it was with at least 2 markers. It's with a specified cost of 2 or more. So you can play Unison with more than 2 and it still works, which is pretty new. We haven't seen that very often. So like if your leader card is an Android card and you have a Unison card in play with a specified cost of 2 or more, then it reduces the cost. So you could have the 3-cost Unison in play if you like. Battle is continuing here.
See, yeah, so Cell's nice and awakened here. The good thing about Cell on this side, he can buy you a lot of turns, and it also enables you to do more hand destruction stuff. So curious to see what happens here. Looks like he just procced the Cell skill straight away to blow something up, and now he's sniping a card out of his hand. Kind of rough for Ethan here. He's running out of cards real quick, and he's awakened. So once he gets down to less than 2 cards in hand, it's going to be pretty hard to get back up into hand size, which not going to be fun for him for sure.
The only positive you'll have is that he can arrival from energy and combo from the drop. So he can technically play with no cards in hand. It's just not.
He technically can.
Amazing.
It's not ideal. It's never ideal to play with no cards in hand. Like, he can still all his plays for sure, but it just feels so rough just playing with like minimal resources.
All right, KOs and playing the
Surprise attack again.
Freezer
This is the
finally.
same. Yep, this is the same one he bounced back to his hand before with the Trunks God Sealing. So wouldn't be surprised here if we see him go up the Zeno chain. He should have a ball in hand as he's as we can see he's already charged 2, and I believe he would.
That chain is really good. Depending on what one you play, you got a crit here, and then you go into either a double strike or a crit. And if you use the double strike one, I think it's the double strike one. You can pop it and make your opponent drop another card. And then it has the Roshi effect that lets you grab an extra card from your drop area.
Exactly. It's actually one of the few ways now to grab cards back from your drop area. So it's pretty cool to see that, it's got that little bit of tech, Normally it was intended, obviously, to grab one of the Dragon Balls back, the one you used to play the Freezer, but, there's a world where you just use it to grab, like, Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, or just Dormant Potential if you need, or whatever extra card you need at the time, right? So it's a very good tech card. That doesn't seem like it at first. You think it's just a generic go hard combo, just going super aggressive, but it has a lot of utility to it as well, which is quite
Agreed.
nice.
It's very good. So this is a 25k crit at leader here. And now Android 18 is forcing Cell to drop a card, or bottom deck a card, as it were.
Not too big of a deal if you're Alan here. You still got a massive hand, and then if you were to wanna, if you are
oh, very nice.
if you use the skill to combo from the drop area, you don't need a bottom deck card.
No, yeah, it's only if you combo from hand to bottom deck. So he does have 1 card in hand. Alan has a Ribrianne in drop, but you don't really want to waste that until you do some damage. Might be worth attacking with leader first.
Yeah, exactly. Or another thing he could do here, if I was Alan, I'd actually use the Dark Broly to swing into the Android 13 just to get start killing that. Don't need to worry about it. And then use a ball to go up the Freezer, because then you can just use the Freezer effect I was saying before, make him to discard his last card from his hand, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that Freezer, the Freezer that does that, is the double strike Freezer. I don't know.
That is correct.
Yeah, so you could just go double strike with the Unison into Unison, then Freezer double strike into Unison as well to get rid of it.
Exactly. Another thing can be he does have another Brianna drop, so you can just swing the leader, force him to take it or lose both cards. It's a lose-lose situation, because no matter what, you will be ending up with 0 cards in hand, which is not ideal, obviously. He's just thinking here. It is a very tough decision to be in. Like, hand destruction can feel so oppressive sometimes. And yep, he decides to take it here, and we're probably just going to see Ribrianne activated from the drop here, force him to discard 2 more cards, with aka the rest of his hand.
Yeah, here we go. Discard 2.
And the thing is that there's literally like nothing you can really do about it, right? Like, yeah,
No.
there's the God Ceiling as well he had in hands. It's like, like it's a lose-lose situation no matter what. And the thing is that it doesn't look like he has another Ribrianne in his drop, but if he has a way to get Ribrianne in the drop, right, it could just
That's
be it.
game
It
for
could
sure.
potentially,
Yeah. Because he's already used his combo as well with the leader, so he can't do that again. That's once a turn, I believe.
That is correct. It is once a turn. Yep, there it is. He's got to get that double strike freezer out. If he has another Dr. Dro in his hand to put another Ribrianne in his drop area, or just simply another Ribrianne in his hand to combo off anyway, it is just GG because Broly does have inbuilt double strike, right? So now it's kind of just a solitaire game from Alan here to take down the Android 16.
So it feels bad. It always feels bad playing, dying to hand destruction, no matter how good the game is. Just I feel like dying with no cards in your hand feels bad.
It feels horrible, sure. So let's see what he decides to do here. He's going to go for that double strike swing. So yeah, there's a lot of cards that exist that just enable it 100% win. It could be a Ribrianne combo here, Gerard putting Ribrianne in the drop. Even the freeze that gives you a battle card crit could be a thing that exists here. So he does take it.
Yeah, he's going to use the skill to make him drop one.
Yep. Doesn't matter what it is. The only card that saves you in this situation is a Sparking Negate. But even then, the game still feels so rough.
So he can now choose to probably grab that ball back just to get that extra combo power.
Yep. And he's still got 2 energy up. Enough cards in hand. I think it's safe to say that it is a GG from this particular position. So, yeah, because there's the swing. Most likely no negates unless he's pulled the Miracle card. Doesn't seem... Yep, and that's... that's brutal. How?
Good game.
Android 18 bottom deck his last card. That was pretty rough, not gonna lie. That is
SL hand destruction is like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
You can say that again. Feels bad.
It is. Hand destruction is not a fun deck to verse for sure. Like it just hand destruction is probably my least favorite deck to verse. I'm not a big fan of it in the slightest, but I understand why it exists though. It is
actually, I'm the same, but I like playing it. So does that make me a hypocrite?
Oh, that's funny. But like looking into this though, I think the deck, the Android 16 deck, it is a cool take on it, but I don't think it's the most optimal version of the deck. I don't think that the Android 13 unison is optimal at all. Like it makes it a lot harder to do certain things. You'd much rather play a different unison, like the baby unison lets you draw a card, the Raditz unison that gives you extra defensive tools. There's stuff like that. I feel like it's a lot better for the deck than playing the Android 13. Like I respect the idea for sure, but I don't think it's the correct way to go for the deck. I feel like it's just if you want to use those particular cards, you're better off playing the Android 21 leader or the Android 18 leader, respectively.
Yeah.
You know? Any second now.
We're ready
Any
in a
second now,
sec.
guys.
No freezer chain. Yeah, he does run the freezer chain. So he runs surprise attack freezer into the freezer Zeno. Sorry, I think that was the way he won the last game that we watched.
I think so as well.
Let's see how we go. Who's starting? Cell starting, which is really good for Cell. Obviously, Cell being able to use his draw and everything on the first turn is very powerful. Just if he does have a Cell Zeno SR that he can use here, it's just so much value and it's really a good start.
It is. That's why honestly, Cell Surge was fairly weak when it first came out in set 9, but when it got that card from the support from set 10, that yellow-green Cell, honestly, it made the deck a whole lot better. Just the fact that you had a really good card, like he just literally put the card in the drop here to take a life and draw a card. You just get a lot more value that you didn't have before in the deck. And I wonder if he's going to take a life here. It chooses like he's not going to, and he's paying 1 for Demigra. Honestly, can't complain. It's a really good start. Demigra is fantastic in this matchup, able to use the skill to remove drums, and now he's got Dormant on... Oh, no, he can't run Dormant. That's right. It's a yellow elite only. But still, regardless, Fury's a charismatic villain is live. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, what do you call it, Piano drop turn 1, then instantly blown up. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is exactly what he needs to do as well, because Piano is obviously the draw engine of Piccolo.
Yes.
And if he's smart, he's using the leader to make a face-up life first, so that if he does drop piano and it gets KO'd, he can put it back.
Honestly, it's smart, and it's also it's good and bad at the same time. It's good because you do get to keep the piano on board, but it actually delays your whole turn from awakening.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't hit it with charismatic. Interesting.
Fair enough. It's kind of good, though. It actually denied William a draw there, just because he did it afterwards. He did the correct sequencing to dodge it for sure, but I guess he didn't really want to deal with it. So that's interesting. Saving his stuff for stuff like drum and cymbal.
Grabbing a card from deck, top 5. That's one other thing that is super powerful. The fact that you can just take any card. You don't have to give your opponent any knowledge of your hand.
Exactly. You're able to build up your master plan without telling you anything. It's great.
Exactly right.
So you can still be
another
playing.
Cell. Oh, Ribrianne, beautiful.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to drop it here. He is. Interesting. Straight away, -2, which is actually kind of huge. Yeah, he's a pretty small hand to start off with. So, yeah, he's only got 2 cards. Yeah, of course, Piccolo awakens and draws 2. Oh, no, 3 cards, sorry.
This is the same play that he went into in his last game that we saw.
And this is why I didn't really care about the piano, getting rid of the piano with Frieza Charismatic. He's just going to use this Goku and get rid of it. This is a very nice start from...
The piano can only use its skill if it goes to the drop, I believe, not to the warp. So the Goku will get rid of it and it won't be able to be replayed. Very good. Plussing with Demigra. I don't even know if you attack here, you probably just leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it, passing turn. So 4 cards, down to 3 when he charges.
As much of a good start this is for Alan here. The thing about Cell is that I'm the King Piccolo. Sorry, they're just got a +3 here anyway. So it's a bit of a grind to whittle their hand down, but it's obviously doable for sure.
Yeah, I think so. You can see he's straight back up to 5 cards, I believe. Playing the piano again, not being able to make the most of it because he obviously didn't get that until he awakened. Attacking with the piano here, hopefully to use the leader skill. Yeah, here we go. Just thinking about what to combo with. So that's a 9k. So he still has to combo another card if he wants to deal damage. I don't think he'll do that.
Oh, I think he might be swinging into the Demigra because it means he has to lose a marker or just takes the card.
Yeah, you're right. That's one thing with Demigra that can kind of hurt you if your opponent has a lot of little 5ks.
Interesting. He decided to actually drop the marker. Doesn't think he wants to take any more life. Does he have Frieza Charismatic? Does not look like it.
And this is a dual attack.
Very surprised about that, actually, huh? He doesn't care. I just clicked. He doesn't care about this Demigra because guess what? It's getting replaced by Dark Broly.
Dark Broly next turn. Yeah.
That's why he doesn't care.
So what? Didn't he? I didn't see him attack twice with Tambourine. Isn't that a dual attacker?
It's only dual. It's not dual attack. It actually, if you have 3 or more face-up life, or your unison has 2 or more markers on it, you get to switch it back to active mode and gain 5k.
Sure. It would have been nice to have Demigra at 3, so you could -3 and then play Dark Broly, but he isn't going to waste life on that.
Exactly. I think it's not even that bad here because the thing is, well, one, the piano's in rest mode, so he can swing into it anyway and force him to just lose it that way. Like, he can just swing with Demigra, get it KO'd that way, and if he wants to keep it alive, you put a life face down. And then afterwards, you can just play the Dark Broly and get rid of it as well. So, honestly, it's pretty solid from Alan here. It's a really strong spot. This is the one thing that catches people, myself included, away, catches you off guard, I guess, rest of the cell. It just does what it does very consistently, which is quite nice. You do a really good consistent strategy, right? Yeah, it's not like the flashiest thing in the world, or it's not like a victory strike or like any of these boss monsters or whatever, but it just gets the job done, which is what you want out of a deck in a best of 1 format.
No, exactly. Swinging here probably into the piano.
This is a good call because the thing is that if he wants to save, it needs to combo a super combo or 2 cards, and either of those are not value. So, especially to keep the piano alive, I think it was a bit ambitious trying to swing with it there.
Yeah, well,
previous turn.
Is it? It's only if it's removed by skill. Is that right?
I believe if it's removed by skill or KO'd, it procs its abilities. But regardless, it's still flipping a life face down. Yep, going for that there. Going a drum, draw a card.
So getting the draw off the piano smart, even though he'll probably let it die. He can drop one more card if he wants to keep it.
That is correct.
Yeah, looks like he is.
Yep. And it's still a high value card to keep it alive, right?
For sure.
Still has his Demigra to swing with, so...
So yeah, he can still swing with the Demigra, but then that can be blocked if he wants to. I assume he plussed with the Demigra?
Yeah, you would always plus first. The thing is that even if he blocks with drum, he still would have to combo to keep the drum alive. Yep, so he's letting it die here. And does he have a Goku in his hand or a surprise attack freezer to follow it up with?
Doesn't look like it. He's charged a surprise attack, so you'd think he does, but apparently not. And this is what we saw last time, Dark Broly.
This Unison is stupidly powerful in this particular deck. It is going to rip a lot of cards out of William's hand here, especially because he doesn't have the Unison now. Now he's got to use the skill of the
This is exactly what we were talking about. William is now looking up what the cards do.
Yep.
So it's, when you get your opponent into that position, it's very strong. Just because it puts them off their guard, I feel.
Exactly. The fact that you have to research what your deck does, while at the same time figuring out the best way to verse that deck, is it's very hard to deal with. And now he's got to like tick up with the Broly, lose the marker, get the ball and whatnot. And then what's he got to do? He's got to use the effect. He might have the surprise attack in hand right now, and he might just get rid of it.
He probably just waited for this so that he could bait out any negates and things before he did it.
Exactly. So waiting now. I didn't see what card he decided to discard. Looks like it was a Violent Raise, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he discarded a Violent Raise.
Now he's got to use the Broly, yep.
Violent Raise is decent against this Dark Broly because it can stop the Dark Broly from swinging.
That is true, but it's kind of a neg play though, is the only problem. Like, exactly. Yeah, he stopped with all kind of one thing, yep. I wonder if he's got the surprise attack here.
No,
he's got the cell +1 there. It's quite. I really enjoy watching how Alan's playing this game. Like, everything he does leads to another action. You can see all the steps that you can like. It's really nice when you can see a deck and you can just see all the steps the player is taking, right? He's played the Dark Broly. First thing he immediately does, uses the ball to make them drop a card, right? Next thing he does, he puts his cell card in the drop instead of, like, he must have got it later on his turn, puts that in the drop with the Broly skill, so not only does he get the Broly effect, then he also gets to follow up with the cell effect. It's just so nice seeing clearly seeing the line of play and just seeing, like, what he has to do to, like, just gradually chip away at his opponent's hand. And it looks like that, it looks like Will's only sitting on 3 cards in hand, and it keeps on getting worse. Like, once he gets to the point where his Cell Leader can awaken, that's another card ripped out of his hand. Once Broly another turn passes, another card out of the hand. It just adds up over time. More rounds in the drop, so it's really nice to see.
It is. Alan, from experience playing against Alan, he's a very knowledgeable player, so he knows the play lines and he knows his opponent's deck. He definitely knows King Piccolo because obviously it's a very popular deck. Everybody plays it. That Scion should be in hand there.
Yep, I think he's going to pick it up in a sec.
He's doing an attack now. He just forgot. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. Let's see, put the super combo. A bunch of cards he's not going to use, I guess, for now. That's all good. Everything remembers that the Scar into hand. And what is he going to do here?
What is he thinking that the Scion's just sitting there?
I have no idea. Yeah, he just swung into the Unison, not going to do anything. Upticking, yep. You got to grab the Scion. Yep. He's just realised it now. That's all good. So I wonder what the plan is. It's kind of rough once the Piccolo Unison's out because if you want to use your freezer counterplay. It kind of just hits the board and then dies immediately, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, you're just getting that value I just desperately need.
Yeah, it's interesting we haven't seen the freezer counterplay at all yet. He obviously hasn't drawn into it.
Wouldn't be surprised if he was saving it for the symbol here or even Tambourine. Those are the two best cards to hit because it's nice draw power. And will he play it here? Any response? The answer appears to be no right now. And now this is where the Piccolo Unison's going to start doing the heavy lifting in this matchup. Just you get to draw so many cards now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if he runs the Zamasu for the freezer as well.
You never know. The fact that we haven't seen the freezer yet kind of sucks. But regardless, I can tell you this turn because he's tapped out. I feel like that we're going to see his hand dwindle real quickly. Not his hand, sorry, his Unison just get depleted of markers this turn. Because probably just swing into it, lose 2 markers. Or he has to block with the drum, which I assume he will be doing.
And he has a potential 6 energy to use here if he surges.
Exactly.
If he sees some Rubrians, that could do some damage.
It's always the worst when you see your opponent with like tons of energy. It's like, yeah, you want to see something cool and just Rubrian you with all their energy. Just see your hand. Just go.
Yeah.
Just vanish.
It doesn't look like he's seeing that what he needs, though. We saw him really very good early game, getting all the cards that he needs to play. But you can see here he's kind of struggling with what to do next. You haven't seen any more Rubrians in the drop area. We know he runs the Giro super combo, but he hasn't popped that out yet either. Piccolo Jr. is on 4 markers, I think, is it?
That is correct, yep. He's going for the Cell Surge skill here, so, he's got something up his sleeve here. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw the freezer this turn. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of what the deck likes to do, get the cards back from the drop with the freezer Zeno, get a ball back or even an extra card, energy cost of 1. So there's a lot of options he can go for here. It's just a matter of seeing what he ends up doing.
So getting something from the top deck. I wonder if he's going to drop something that he can use.
Oh yeah, you'd hope so. You hope to see something optimal. Rubrian's really good here. Even Draw Goku's good here too, just getting more cards than your opponent. Now the Cell
works.
Yeah. I don't see him using the Cell ability to take the life, but it probably makes sense just to use the Jura card. Using the Deborah again. Most people playing Cell Surge with Goku Engine before so 30 balance cards hit Lamau. Yeah, exactly. That's what when we first saw it on the stream earlier today, that's what we'd assume he'd be going for as well. But he's just using this kind of hand destruction variant, just slowly chipping away at his opponent's hand and then board as well. It's a very big denial of resources, which is quite nice because you have between the Cell Leader, between the cards you run, you just chip away at the hand, just slowly.
Yeah. Also, Gildarts, we have the ban list in place today. In Oceania, it was in place from the 30th of April. It's now the 1st of May. So if they were running that in this tournament, they could only run one Hope of Universe 7. Even though the new cards aren't legal, the ban list is in place.
That is correct, yes.
Swinging with a double strike, probably into Unison, and then Scion stopping that. Cell, allowing him to draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like he doesn't have anything to use his energy for this turn.
That's the vibe I'm getting as well. Unless he discards something here, which is the Ribri. There we go. There it is. Surprised he got rid of the Piccolo one drop and not the 3-cost symbol. That's fairly odd if you ask me.
No, the opponent gets to choose what card is KO'd with Dark
Oh,
Belly.
then that explains it perfectly then, eh?
Yeah.
It's just like, I genuinely don't know what these green cards do. It's like an archetype and a strategy you don't normally see at these higher ends of the table.
I only know because someone once used it to get rid of my Cell Zeno. And instead of, I counterplayed the actual Unison to put a freezer on board so that I could KO that because I knew that I got to choose.
That's funny. Well, it looks like Will's out of cards in hand. That's pretty bizarre if you ask me. Where's Launch? Launch is not on top cut here. Launch is, I think, being played by Robert Rizzi. I don't know what table they're on, though. I'm just quickly flicking through. I don't see his name popping up anywhere. So
last round I did see a Launch in the top few tables, though. It was someone else. But I'm not sure how that's going now. We've got the Surge here, untapping.
Here it
Draw
is.
two.
I quite like this. One of the cards he put under there was the yellow drape. I wouldn't be surprised if he uses his leader skill to KO the symbol and then draw. So this is quite good here. I like it. I like it. Well, to be fair, actually, there's kind of no point using the skill just yet because
You want to give him a card at least first, I think.
I agree with this, but he's probably just gonna combo use the leader skill to combo out of it. Is what I would do. His deck's doing too good of a job. He's already got his hand down to 0, so it's pretty funny.
So he's got 2 super combos in energy in life, perfectly prepared for this situation where he needs to draw. But he does have 6 life, so he can't draw off them yet.
Exactly, but he probably would lose some life in the next coming turns. I think the play is to try and see if he can get rid of this unison. Like that's one of the things that's given him the most draw power, right? The only thing that kind of sucks, you do have to deal with this. This drum is going to intercept an attack. That's the first thing I would probably do here. No point risking getting hit with an attack and then just forced to lose the card, right? You can't actually out-combo it. And yep, here is this. Oh, I wonder what card he's got to rival. Is he got a rival here?
Gildarts is asking if I can do a deck profile on this Cell Surge. I probably can. Good idea. I will speak to Alan. I obviously see him in person sometimes, so I'll speak to him and see if I can get that and put that up for you guys.
That's awesome, and this is actually so huge right now. Android 13, I've been waiting to see this card played, like, in action. This seems like the most fitting deck for it. So we've got this card for it here. This is great. So in this situation here, what's going to happen? So at the start of Will's next turn, the Android 13 automatically just kills 2 of his opponent's battle cards. Of course, William gets to choose, but
he can only choose 2 of them.
Exactly. Like, kills 2 every turn.
That Scion and the symbol are going bye-bye.
Exactly, and he doesn't even need to invest using his leader skill. Doesn't need to drop comboing that off. Yep. I think this is a very big move. I don't think there's a way for inherently for Will to get rid of this card. He's using his unison skill. He's probably going to combo out. What is he comboing out here? He's choosing another symbol. I think this is a fairly big misplay here. He just loses his whole board here, unfortunately, between the leader ability and then the Android 13's effect. His whole entire board should be gone after this.
What's happening next? I just can't wait to see. Oh, there's the freezer.
This
Beautiful.
is so clean, dude. This is so clean. He can choose any of his cards. It doesn't matter, though. Unfortunately, it will get KO'd straight away. Actually, that was a small misplay. That was a small misplay from Will, though. What he could have done, because he just used the he played the drum. No, he didn't. Never mind. I'm just thinking too hard into it. I was going to say if he used the drum to minus the 13, 10k, he could have killed it with his Piccolo, but, you know, I'm just... Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my god, dude, is this the play? But then it wasn't. It was just
drawing 2. Very nice. So the other thing he could do is use the Cell Surge just to make sure that if he does play any battle cards, that they come in rest. If he wants.
That is true, but I don't think you really care at this point. Honestly, like, if you look at the amount of cards in his hand versus his opponent's hand, there is quite a large difference, unfortunately. But yeah, unfortunately, like, this is really nice to see. Like, now both these cards get destroyed. He's got 1 card in hand. He can't charge here. His hope is only just praying that he sees cards off his Piccolo Unison, and it's just so hard here. Like, his opponent has
what did he use the Cell Surge ability for? Because he used it.
I assume, since he didn't force him to drop it, it'll be the one where all his cards are played in rest mode. That means he only has to worry about 2 attacks this turn between the King Piccolo and the Piccolo Unison.
Why is his energy all tapped?
He's not. I don't know, dude. But man, this is
I'm so confused. He must have just forgotten to untap it. So comboing with the tambourine. Tambourine's obviously going to come in rest. I feel like he doesn't have a symbol, because symbol would have been better.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he must be attacking into that Android 13.
That is what I would say it would be as well. This drum just gets played. Oh, dude, this is brutal. Another one goes to the bottom of deck, and he just out-combos it. I mean, I'm really happy to see this 13 in play. I've known this card will be good. I've just been waiting to see it.
Yeah, so he's saying that's in rest mode, yep.
That is rough. And again, this is what we were talking about before. He's hard-casted symbol. That's funny.
I just feel like that's probably the right play because it's going to go from your hand anyway. So at least he's getting a plus with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Unfortunately, it's probably going to disappear from his hand at the end of the turn anyway. So
yeah, you're right.
I think
Let's hear.
Yeah, I feel like it's at the point where Cell Surge is going to start chipping away dramatically at King Piccolo now. It's like he's in the commanding position. He just takes that. He knows he's at such a huge advantage. He doesn't need to worry about going to low life total. So it's pretty cool to see. Another untap here. See how he Rubik's Cubes this one around. The only thing that's kind of annoying versus King Piccolo, they always have access to at least a 5k combo with the leader skill, and they can potentially play something, but it only looks like the cards he has in his life is the 2 super combos. I can't really tell
There's
believe the
3 super combos and then 1 Piccolo, the SR.
So unless he flips over a drum or something, he doesn't have access to a lot of like crazy cards. So this is quite rough for Will here. Let's see how this Cell Surge goes.
If he's planning to kill him this turn, he should keep his leader. But if he thinks he's going to wait another turn Cell Surge, then he should use his leader ability for the rest mode now, so that if he does flip a drum or something, it automatically comes in rest.
Exactly. I've said exactly like 20 times, I've realized. I'm saying it a lot. I'm like, exactly, Sam, spot on, dude. But it's true, though.
I'm learning it off you. I'm saying exactly too. We're like feeding each other.
It's a good word, dude. The hot buzzword for sure. Oh no, Trent's saying it as well, guys. It's
We're
exactly it.
So.
Whoa. All right.
What movie was it? I don't think I've seen it. He's using the Dark Broly to KO and then finally get that freezer out.
And there's nothing he can do about it. He's gonna have to like combo something with from his life. Hopefully he doesn't get crit. And he's gonna probably be able to kill the Unison here too. It's just this is very rough for Will here.
It's almost worth attacking just to force the combo from life, so you don't have to worry about it a bit later.
Exactly. Alright, I'm not saying this word ever again. I'm saying it way too much. Alright. So the point is that now it's just a matter of solitairing it for Alan here, right? He has the crit swings. His opponent has no cards in hand. This is a free swing to lead. It's either you take the crit swing here, or you just be like, all right, I'll combo out of it, right? But the problem is that if you combo any card from your life, you don't even get the full effect. You just stop the 1 crit swing. So I think it's just worth letting this go through and losing a card.
Well, it looks like he's not going. And he didn't hit anything.
He didn't hit. I would not have done that. He's coming with the 5k. Stops the crit swing, but now Alan doesn't have to worry about that for the rest of the turn, man. That's it. He's just going to be able to get rid of the Unison here. The symbol will automatically get killed by the Android 13 here. It's looking quite nice. If I'm Alan, I'm feeling it right now. It seems really nice for him, 0 cards in hand to deal with. 6 cards in life. 3 of them are super combos. And, he only has access to them 1 per turn now. He can only switch and combo with them once per turn.
He can, if he has the ball, he can go into the Zeno, hit a double strike, and then use the lead ability and the freezer to make him drop those 2 cards without interaction.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he's down to 4. I don't know. Does that Android 13 have any keywords like double strike or anything?
I think I actually have it right next to me, but I believe it does not. I think it's got Arrival, of course. It also has Energy Exhaust, I believe.
Yeah.
It's only keyword skills. I know for a fact it doesn't have Barrier, and it also has Unique, because you can only have 1 out on the board. It'll be pretty insane. Here we go. Energy Exhaust, Unique, Double Strike, and Arrival. That was the last one we're missing, Arrival.
So you did say double strike?
I did say double strike. I've got the card.
Yeah, okay.
Right
So
right
he can...
So double strike.
Oh, tapping 4.
Yeah, exactly. Has double strike and exactly. That's the key. Has exactly. That's the keyword. You can have exactly 1 Android 13 play. Oh no.
Tapping 4 for the... He mustn't have a ball. Unless...
It might be because he wants to keep both of these cards in his hand. He has the ball in drop, actually. Maybe he doesn't have anything too crazy to do from his drop.
He could attack with that as a double strike, use the skill, grab the ball back, and then ball on the other freezer to play another one.
Yeah, that might be it. The thing is that if he swings with the freezer, balls it, grabs it back, he can use the Broly to pitch a card as well. And then even the thing is that as well, when he attacks with this, he can use this effect, rip a card out of his hand, one of the 2 cards he gets here, and then use the sell the leader skill as well.
Skill to rip the other card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just literally, it's a game of solitaire right now, for sure.
Yeah, drop freezer, get ball back and repeat. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then he's got 3 double strikers on board if he does that. I feel like...
Yes. He's got Broly double strike, he's got Android 13 double strike, he's got all the double strikers that he would possibly want. Gets those 2 to hand, and now he's like, all right, cool, those actually belong in the drop area, you know? My card doesn't have crit, but it might as well.
That's interesting. I guess he knows they're both going. I feel like, especially since you know what he's grabbing to hand from life, there's no will he have a sparking negate or anything, because you know he doesn't. So...
Yeah. For sure. The only thing that is now is that if he doesn't successfully do it the correct sequencing and whatnot, there's a chance he will end up with 2 super combos in hand after the next double strike swing. Straight away here. Actually, no. If he does this correctly, if he plays another freezer and then uses the Broly skill, makes him drop a card here, and then he does the same thing again, he goes 2-0.
So he does have the Scion in hand for a negate. The sequence here is he definitely uses, I don't know if he's going to do it, but he should use that later skill to get rid of that card.
Even the Dark Broly skill is quite good here. I don't believe he's used his Unison effect this turn. I love watching Solitaire.
he did use the Unison effect because he used it to play the Freezer.
There we go.
KOing something.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But he's getting rid of it that way. Very nice. Yeah, as long as he gets sequencing right here, it should be game.
Yep, then he does that here. Good. So he gets another double striker from his deck. Yep, beautiful. There it is. He swings with that one, puts him on 2, and then he forces him to discard yet another card from his hand. And then he has to stop 2 double strike swings with super combo. He guarantees 1 super combo here, but he has to kind of high roll it here. So he swings with this, no negates, no combos. That's 2 super combos to hand. Then he rips 1, swings with Android 13, combos that ball, he adds back to hand, and that's I think
he only grabbed 1 super combo. What was the other card?
I believe it was 2 super combos. I believe it was 2.
Oh, he had 3.
He had all 3 of them in his life.
He's like, I'll just drop this because they're all the same. Oh, he's got the...
and that's exactly 0.
And
the
that's
Broly
game.
Go off once
GG,
again. That is
Cell Zeno takes it. I mean,
guys, that was the greatest game of Solitaire we've seen in a long time, dude. Good game.
I'm pretty happy with that. Like, obviously,
that's pretty
sucks
cool
for William to nearly get there, but it's cool to see something that's not King Piccolo win.
Exactly. This is really cool. I'm really happy about this because finally we get to see this Android 13 SR. But everyone was hyping up when it was first announced. Like, yeah, dude, this card's broken for sure. There's no way this card isn't broken. It has to be broken, right? You play it for a rival, and at the start of your opponent's turn every time, 2 life damage, kill 2 cards, kill 2 cards. The longer it stays on the board, the better. And on top of that, it has extra utility in this deck. Like, it's honestly not a bad idea to use the that ability, put it in the drop, and use the active main for 1, and just KO a battle card. That's like really great. I'm really big congrats to Alan here for clutching it and just getting the win. It was really nice to see a non-meta deck come up and win the event. That was nice to see.
It was awesome. Very good game.
The only thing I hope now is that...
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. But if you want to help me out further, look at the link in the description below. Click on palmsoffgaming.com.au. Check out their binders, check out their sleeves, check out all their grading gear. And if you buy something from them, put the code Cybermen into the coupon code field and you'll get 10% off and it'll help me out as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. Love ya.